Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. Today we're back with Bretonnia, gonna be taking on the Vampire Counts. This is another battle between myself and Lore Master of Sotek. So, not sure when exactly this video is coming out. He may have already fought in the Ever-Chosen Invitational, but good luck to him regardless. This is going to be a battle between, Bretonnia and the Vampire Counts, so let's get to it. Alberic leading the way. He's got some Royal Hippogriff Knights protecting. We've got a front line of men-at-arms with polearms. Dumped some chevrons into them to give them more stats. We've also got a line of foot squires with the same thing, and the Beastlayers of Bastogne in the back. We've got a Grail Relic for leadership support. Over in the woods, we've got a Damsel Lord of Life and Knights of the Lion-Hearted, so relatively light on cav, with more of an infantry presence in this particular build. For Lore Master's army, he's got this dreaded Strigoi Ghoul King, who's actually not that amazing, but he's up on a Terrorgeist, and he does have poison attacks, 80 armor, anti-large armor piercing with some spells here. He's got Invocation of Nehek, Soul Blight, and the Potion of Strength, as well as Bloodlust. Interesting to not see the Crypt Horror/Crypt Ghoul summon. He's also got a couple bats, got Skeleton Spears, and Skeleton Warriors in the front line. Nope, zombies, with some Graveguard, Sternsman, Graveguard with great weapons in the back, and some more Graveguard. Looks like some more Skeleton Spears. We've got the Dire Pack, and that's pretty much it. So without further ado, we're going to get the battle underway. You can see the Hippogriffs kind of moving up here, trying to get into a position to get at the Ghoul King, obviously. And also just doing some nice scouting, checking out what the Vampire Counts have in the woods. It does look like I've neglected over here in the side. There are the Feasters in the Dusk, the Regiment of Renowned Crypt Ghouls. Very interesting choice. And you can see in this pursuit, we're going to get tangled up in the bats here. Lore Master of Sotek, obviously not wanting to get caught up by the Hippogriffs, going to try and use his bats to block a little bit here. Unfortunately, the Hippogriffs are going to get through somewhat and be able to chase the Ghoul King around. So you can see him fleeing as his army slowly advances across the field here. No doubt he wants to try and get down onto the ground where he can get support as soon as possible. There were also some Blood Knights and some Black Knights in the woods over there, so I'm going to go ahead and start to move some forces over. Lore Master did not notice I had the Knights of the Lion-Hearted in the woods here, so I went ahead and countercharged the Dire Pack, and we were able to take them down very, very quickly. And meanwhile, the line of Bretonians just holding valiantly. We are going to reposition, if ever so slightly, just to, again, kind of use this woods as a bit of an anchor on our flank. And just in general, I'm trying to finish off some of these crumbling units before the fighting really gets started here. Meanwhile, the Blood Knights and the Black Knights moving up and around the flank here, going to try and get a nice side charge, probably in on those foot squires. There aren't a whole lot of really good targets for these Blood Knights, besides obviously the Hippogriff Knights, which are currently still up in the air dealing with the bats, although here we're going to come down for just a full-on alpha strike, just straight up charge right into the Blood Knights, and we're going to follow up with some support with the halberds. Alberic is also going to come in as well. At least I thought he was. Yep, it does look like he's actually in here. Kind of hard to pick him out of the actual Hippogriff Knights, but it looks like we're getting a Soul Blight there, so that's going to tear away some of the armor, but we did also dump an Overcast Regrowth into those Royal Hippogriff Knights just to give them extra physical resistance and make sure they stay nice and healthy. You can see the Blood Knights have taken a ton of damage there, and Alberic's dreaded Trident going to be unleashed to try and free up these peasant units, which you can see had got a little bit surrounded there, and that wave actually did some pretty solid damage, and the leadership debuff also helping to crumble away some units there. But it looks like that Soul Blight definitely a bit of a rough issue, and you can see peasants being terrified away. Unfortunately, the Grail Relic is over supporting this pocket here, but the Knights of the Lion-Hearted have been cycle charging this advancing Vampire force, just trying to discombobulate them, get them out of position and kind of mess up the formation a little bit. You can see they're all kind of in a big blob now at this point, which is exactly what I was trying to do, is disrupt there. The Ghoul King tries to come down, and he does actually manage to Doom and Darkness, terrify away the Royal Hippogriff Knights. One of the models rather, gets dragged down. That's a huge loss for me. You can see the bounce power, though, still pretty even, all things considered. And you can see Lore Master starting to spread his forces out as he moves in to attack attack the peasants here, but these peasants are perfectly happy holding the line, especially with their 44 melee defense. Even with the bonus versus infantry here, what is it, 10s? These guys are at 35. They're still significantly lower, only going to be about 25% chance to hit, give or take. So pretty rough across the board for the vampires there. But yeah, Alberic managed to get back up in the air and is going to try and spring his Hippogriff Knights loose. There's still quite a bit of value here that I want to try and get. So, you know, with Alberic distracting the Ghoul King, we're going to bring the Hippogriffs back around here, and they're going to support Alberic in this engagement. Ghoul King suddenly realizes, oh, I'm in a bit of trouble, so he's going to try and get out of here. But with the Hippogriffs rallied at the very least, we should be able to get back in action here. Meanwhile, in the front lines, you can see the peasants and the foot squires still holding out very, very well. The chevrons giving them extra melee defense and you know, leadership and everything, very helpful in this kind of a situation here, where we're just holding back the undead tides here. Very cool cinematic battle. And fittingly on the Elengui map, which is, of course, one of the Bretonian maps, one of my favorite maps for multiplayer as well. But you can see the Blood Knights just about crumbled away here, only 3 unit models, and crumbling quickly. Strigoi Ghoul King's going to try and come around. Those Feasters in the Dust did manage to get into those men-at-arms, and actually are doing quite a bit of damage. But it looks like here comes another Trident cast right down the line of the Vampire Count's units. Oh, it's like a wet fart in the wind. Really doesn't do very much damage. But the leadership effect, especially on these lower leadership undead units, you can see it pretty much set this entire blob to crumbling while that effect was active. And, you know, they might have been crumbling anyway. But let's just pretend that the Trident made a difference there. And, yeah, Ghoul King overcasting a spell, trying to get some healing done. But at the same time, things are just not looking great for him. We've responded with an Earthblood earlier as well, and yeah, at this point the Ghoul King's going to have a hard time getting away from these Hippogriffs, just kind of pinning him in, you know, pummeling him left and right and center, and yeah, the Ghoul King's not long for this world. As he starts to lose health and leadership, you can see the army is getting closer and closer to critical army losses there. The Knights Lionhearted going to swing up and around, had rallied, just a few unit models left, but we should be able to put them to good use, so we'll go ahead and go for a ride along for these heroic knights as they make their final charge into the big vampire pocket there. You can see with the Ghoul King and the Hippogriffs still fighting, of course. We're going to get in here, get a nice rear charge, and go straight after the Ghoul King. Maybe a couple of the unit models actually make contact there. But Alberic's certainly pushing through. You can see him going very aggressively, the Hippogriff Knights piling in as well. And at this point, brutal, brutal stuff, and the Vampire Count's not long for this world, so yeah. About a minute left or so on the battle, so we'll soak up some more cinematics as the Ghoul King desperately trying to escape here. He's stuck up by like 1 unit of cav, but does manage to get back up in the air, but you can see just widespread crumbling and disintegration across the board here for the Vampire Counts as a lot of their units just crumble and wither away. Nice breath attack from the Terrorgeist there, did a little bit of damage to the Hippogriff Knights. He tries to come back around, but unfortunately here's the Hippogriff squad once again. Just everywhere the Ghoul King goes, these guys are perpetually hunting him down, and yeah, just dragging him into the mud here with the peasants. Of course, the anti-large armor piercing of the peasant mobs here, or sorry, the peasant men-at-arms with polearms. They're basically mobs, you know, let's just give them that. But the Ghoul King goes down, and with that, the rest of the forces crumble, and a very well played, Lore Master Sotek. Very fun battle. Not the most competitive builds on either side, but certainly fun to see Alberic and the Hippogriffs just take the vampires to Pound Town a little bit there. The chevroned front line actually ended up working out pretty well. You know, men-at-arms with 80 kills, 42, 106 on some foot squires. Not bad at all. 146 on these Knights Lionhearted. So yeah, just in general, we were able to get some good work done. And those Royal Hippogriff Knights, a lot of those 90 kills are actually Blood Knights. So that's quite an impressive kill total, although you know, although it is technically lower than some of these other units. For Lore Master of Sotek, yeah, having the Ghoul King up in the air was definitely rough, and that is one of the risks, of course, of bringing a Flying Lord against Bretonnia. They are quite powerful up in the air, and it's going to stretch your micro having to run away from them the whole time, but, you know, we were kind of just memeing in this battle. It wasn't meant to necessarily be a super serious battle, just more for fun, but I certainly do hope they buff the damage of Alberic's Trident. It just doesn't seem like it does very much damage. I mean, yeah, the leadership effect is nice, and you can use it to kind of get a terror bomb in some of these situations, or set undead units to crumbling, but at the end of the day, I just really don't feel like it's fully worth it. But anyway, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.